Alright, how we doing, folks? Your boy Marcus on 205 numbers. After the name. A little Comix zone action over here, a little games beating. Y'all already know how we be is doing. So this game I had on my radar for a long time, man. I heard that there was a game that you kind of played through a comic book on the Genesis, and I was like, huh, that interests me. It's something different. I've never really experienced that, something new of it, something fresh. Let me check that bad boy out. And then I saw it was on the Genesis, the Sega Genesis Mini that I copped, and I was like, alright, this is gonna be game number 1 off the Sega Genesis Mini right here. We're gonna put a little work over here. So, I'm gonna tell you my score for it already, and it's honestly, I feel like it's a little bit better than my score, but there's just some stuff that happens in this game that is unacceptable in a video game of any era. So I'm gonna give it a 6.5. I can't give it anything higher, I'm not gonna lie. So, let's go with the pluses. The style. The style is amazing. Amazing. Like 10 out of 10. Like, I am all about how it looks. I am all about the aesthetic of it. I'm all about the I was kind of describe it, just the comic book feel and everything, that kind of idea, the multiple pad. Like, I am all about it. Like, A+ on that. What I'm not about, the combat is okay. It's like a fighting game type combat thing. That's alright, but not necessarily ideal. A lot of it's just kind of mashing buttons and you kind of win. So I think it could be a lot more improved in the combat in terms of just how you hit enemies and stuff. There's some items too, but I feel those are pretty limited as well, so I don't know. And there's just gameplay things that are just not cool. One is that I think you almost kind of have to beat the game out like one life. Like, it kind of just like restarts it at the beginning of the stage and that's it. So this is save states is a must just to save like the stage that you're on. And not because you can't be good enough to figure out and remember how to do stuff, because it's not necessarily what I would say a hard game. It's more just the BS damage that you take. So you'll notice when you play like a stage, you take a lot of just crap damage that there's some puzzle elements where you have to figure out how not to do it. But let me explain to you. To get through a door sometimes, you just have to punch it. Or you have to figure out some like very weird way to get through it and hurt it. Or you have to have like an item or something like that to do it. And you don't take damage. But if not, like if maybe you use that item, or maybe like you just don't fully like know exactly what's going on, which is a lot of the game, then you will take damage by punching that thing that you need to get through. I'm not in favor of any game where you lose health by trying to progress. Like, that's just something I can't get down with. Also, and this is just the first stage over here, so that's why it's a little bit easy. But as you get like later on in the game, like there's just like the things are just weird. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but sometimes you get to a point where you're like, and you pick like one path. Like there's multiple paths you can take sometimes in the stage, and one path is like substantially easier than the other path, which I guess you just have to know that. You know, like I said, I'm all for a little bit of repetition to get better, get good, and then like win the game. But when it becomes just kind of like a crapshoot at some points, or when it becomes like, you know, you didn't use your rat on some random page to get some random item that can help you get through this random door, when like a door shouldn't be an obstacle. Like, I shouldn't get to points of the game where I'm like, hold up, I'm not really like able to get through here. I don't got enough health. Like, what's going on? Like, oh my bad. Like, there's a door here. Like, that's my enemy. Like, the door is like the enemy that I'm having like a problem with. That's a little bit like kind of just weird. I also wish you used the Superman guy a little bit more, like the superpower that you have there. You're kind of like building up to it the whole game, but you never really like use it outside of select items and whatnot. The stages are short as well, and it's not a lot of them, so the game's kind of short. I would love to see this today, you know, but today is like modern amenities with some better level design, with some not taking damage when you hit like enemies or hit like just things. Like, I was floored by that, because I was like dying. I'm like, why am I dying? I'm like, oh, I punched the door open that I need to get through. Like, what? Like, I'm doing what the game's telling me to do, but it's taking me damage, so you have to take that into account. I feel like the execution of the gameplay should have been and could have been a lot better. The aesthetic is amazing.